Shalom. First, I'd like to give just like all praises, all the glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Kakadash. I would like to give double honors to my apostle Ellis of Great Millstone, who will well, who like push his word, truth, and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now, so risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now, so more ever, and just like also salutations to the elect, just the elect, the 144,000 judges. That's 12,000 men for each tribe, and also salutations to the 1/3 men, women, and children that's part of the elect. And a special shout out to just like the few sisters that's listening learning, and they try to see salvation. To you, I say shalom. This is your brother Sakaya for the Great Millstone Youth Church back at it with like another lesson in truth. And this is no my second serious lesson on these are Edomite males that be killing their families. So I'm doing like a 5 lessons on these Edomite males that be killing their families, because Esau always like to talk about Jake on Jake crime, but like reason why Jake be killing each other because due to the curses. And like just, he thinks he's all perfect and stuff, but he killed, they kill their own people, man. They kill their own people and their own families. So I was like, let me do just like show you just like these ain't Edomites that show you stories that these devils kill their family members. So the topic is the family annihilator. Uh, 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 Part two. Okay, so this is part two of this. Um, I did one already with John and Emily List. This is another guy. His name is like William Bradford Bishop. This guy that worked for the government, and they sailed to different countries around the world, and like he speak like 5 different languages, and they get up to certain great promotions. If you don't reach a certain promotion, you get let go. And he got mad about that. He went and killed his own family, and he been on a run for like 50 years. About about 50 years. He's been on the run, and like he never been caught. So I will play the video, and like I have like a few precepts.
A shopping mall, Montgomery Mall here in Bethesda.
Fair use. I'm not making no money off of this. Fair use. I'm using this. I'm using the video for like biblical educational purposes. Fair use. Let's carry on.
Maryland. He went to the Sears store and he bought a hammer, a 2.5-gallon gas can, and then he went to the gas station and filled up that gas can, the 2.5 gallons with gas, as well as filling his car up to making sure that his car was topped off in gas. He then drove to a hardware store in Potomac, Maryland, and bought a shovel. He then went home, and a little bit later in that evening, he committed just a grisly homicide of his entire family. So William Bradford Bishop was originally from Sacramento, California. He went to Yale for undergraduate and then went to a college in Vermont for his master's degree. He then went into the military. He rose pretty quickly as an officer in the military, and his military experience and expertise was military intelligence. And that's what he did, and he was a Foreign Service worker. He was assigned to embassies throughout the world, mainly in Africa and in Europe. He spoke 5 languages. He took his family to the Swiss Alps skiing.
He speaks Croatian, Spanish, French, I think Russian, and I think Italian. I'm not too sure. So he did. This damn devil speak 5 different languages, and this damn motherfucker knows how to hide. He he knows where to hide and like how to hide from authorities. He been on the run for 50 years. Nobody do not know where he at. People say that he's in Italy or Europe, or he could be in the States. You know, he could be like blend in. You ain't know. Okay, so let's play the video.
On a regular basis. He had a place in Europe where he would actually go skiing regularly. So the people in his neighborhood really believed that he was doing well, and that this was just the next step for him, actually, until he was promoted and moving on to another place somewhere in the world. Well, he had found out that day that he was not being promoted and that he didn't get the job. Although Mr. Bishop wanted to let everyone believe that he was kind of a very wealthy person who lived the high life, in fact, his mother was actually funding the family, and the family was running out of money. So in the evening of March the 1st, 1976, sometime after the family dinner, he took the hammer that he had bought earlier in that day, and while his wife was standing by the front door after putting the 3 children to bed, he took the hammer and hit her in the head and beat her to death with that hammer. He then went room by room while the boys were in their pajamas in their beds and beat them one by one, killing them, his own children, in their bedrooms. At the time of these murders, Mr. Bishop's
And you Jakes that want to like ask these devils to be equal and to give reparations. He ain't gonna give you shit, man. This damn devil Miro, he was trying to next year. He wants to take Juneteenth and like MLK, and they leave just like the 4th of July. Okay, you will be equal. You ain't gonna be equal to him. You know, this man evil to himself. That's like Sirach. How can he be good? He be evil towards his own people, and also towards his family, and also his kids as well too, man. Okay, the reason why I'm doing these lessons, 5 lessons, to show you how these devils operate, man. They not gonna see you equal. They don't see they self. They be evil. They be evil to their own people, man. Okay. What makes you special to them? Nothing. They ain't gonna treat you equal. They don't treat their own. All right. So let's play the video.
mother was living in the house, and she had taken their dog, their golden retriever, Leo was his name, outside for a late night walk. Little did she know, when she came back, not only would she find and see Mrs. Bishop beaten to death at the front door, she was going to be the last victim of this particular crime, where William Bradford Bishop took that hammer and also beat his mother to death, and sparing the dog. During that time, he then packed up the car rolled up the 5 bodies into a tarp, and put all 5 of them at about 11:30 or 12 o'clock time frame, midnight, put them in the back of the car, which ended up being somewhat like a hearse, drove that vehicle.
If you're over 30 without life insurance, have you heard about this new type that pays you while you're still alive? It's called life insurance with living benefits. With living benefits, you can access up to 100% of your death benefit immediately, tax-free, to cover your mortgage, medical bills, and daily expenses. Here's why this changes.
From Bethesda, Maryland, straight down to Tyrell County, North Carolina, in a very rural area. He found a logging road that led up to a very wooded forest type area, and he brought the shovel that he had bought earlier, and he brought the gas can with him, and he dug a grave, a shallow grave, but it was deep enough to actually take the bodies that he had just killed of his entire family and bury them on top of each other in that grave. He then took the gas can that he had, emptied the gas can on top of the bodies, and he lit them on fire. At the same time those bodies were burning, it was a period of time where they had not had much rain in that area, so some of the brush and tinder in that area started on fire. There was a forest ranger in the park in that area, and he saw the fire. So what they thought was just somewhat of a brush fire that had started somehow, maybe from a campfire of some sort. Actually, he put out a call for fire folks to come put that fire out. Little did he know that he was.
This is Psalms chapter 73 and verse 5. This is Psalms chapter 73 verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither they are plagued like man. Yeah, who is they? These Edomites, man. They are not in trouble like other men. They can kill their families, blend in. They ain't have to do nothing. Just blend in, and nobody don't even know them. Okay, some of your bosses do crimes and stuff. Like your bosses and stuff that you work with, you never know. They probably did some murders and stuff, and like they just blend in. They not in trouble, just like nobody else, man. I saw a clip where they did arrested they detained 2 EMI shoplifters for Walmart, and they was questioning them in the office. They didn't arrest them, but they didn't know that anybody had a gun in his bag, so he made sure they wasn't looking. So he went over the bag, and he was trying to shoot the officer, and then the manager stopped him, hold a gun, like just like grab on him and get that gun from him. A cop saw it and like kick him in his chest and stuff. The cop did not kill him. If it's you, Jakes, you Negroes or Tears of Day Breakers that did that, try to put a gun on a cop, you be dead. You be dead. They shoot at cops. They don't do nothing. They treat them good and put them in court. They not in trouble just like anybody else, man. They go to countries, they kill people, they do all these things. So they not in trouble. Neither they are plagued. They eat abominable foods. Nothing happens to them. If you eat abominable foods, you get sick. All right, just to let you know. So that's
It's going to be showing up at the scene and finding a grave with 5 bodies in it. At the scene, the gas can was left and the shovel was left. About 6 hours passed after him leaving Maryland was about the time, 6 to 8 hours was the time that the bodies were located from that fire. The next time, about the next day, which is now March the 2nd of 1976, there was a convenience store in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and William Bradford Bishop went to that convenience store with the dog, and he bought a pair of tennis shoes in that store. He charged with a credit card, and back in 1976, it was not electronic, so they actually had to do a hard copy of the credit card and him sign his actual signature. And experts have determined that that was his signature, and that was in March the 2nd of 1976. Neighbors of the Bishop family were getting concerned because they didn't tell anybody that they were going away. The mail and the newspapers were starting to build up in front of the house. And several days later, one of the neighbors called 911 and asked the Montgomery County Police Department to come by to check because there was no sign of them. It only took a couple of steps to get into the front residence of that house to see all the blood that was throughout that home. And of course there were no bodies because they were in North Carolina, but you could certainly see by the horrendous crime scene that something terrible had occurred. About 17 days later, in the Great Smoky Mountains in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Mr. Bishop's station wagon that he had driven the bodies down there showed up in a park, a state park. Unfortunately, the vehicle was there. As it appeared, William Bradford Bishop disappeared into those woods, and we have never seen him again. On March the 9th, after the investigation initially began, a grand jury in Montgomery County, Maryland, did indict him on 5 counts of capital murder. Those warrants are still outstanding. If Mr. Bishop is ever brought to justice, he will be tried. He was born in 1936. He was almost 83 years old. So if he is ever brought to justice, those indictments, those warrants are still active, and I am confident that he would still be, based on the evidence that we have, he will still be tried and convicted here in Montgomery County. But then we had also found out
If you get caught, he'd be convicted and face like 5 life sentences because up in Maryland they don't have the had the death penalty. Maryland, New Jersey, and like various states that does not have the death penalty. Let's say it was Virginia or Texas or any of these states. You do murder your whole family, they'll give you the death penalty. Okay, New York they don't have the death penalty. Massachusetts don't. Okay, in certain states they don't have the death penalty, but it is optional. Let's say Jake that killed his family and disappeared for so long, and they got caught. That Jake will get the death penalty. You know what I mean? So I'm just speaking facts. So one more precept, and then like one more precept, and like then I'm gonna wrap it up, and like I'm gonna let y'all watch the video. Okay. This is how Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start at what? This is Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 1. I would stand up, I would stand upon my watch, and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what shall I answer when I am reproved. Verse 2. And the Lord Yahweh Shai answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that read it. Verse 3. For the vision is set for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Through it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright right in him, but the but the but the just shall live by faith. So Esau Edom, the so-called white man, his soul is lifted up, is not right in his devil, is not upright in him. His soul is not right. These damn devils got they cold. They don't got no soul. They don't got no feelings. They don't got nothing. They ain't got no spirituality. They just cold people, man. Very cold people. You see what the guy did to his family? You did that to your own mother and your own wife and it was your own children. You ain't shit. I'm not saying his wife's a saint. Saint. I'm not saying his wife is a saint. No, man. These Shemites are just as evil as the Edomite male. His children, same thing. Okay, the same thing. Okay, they not upright, man. Okay, but the just shall live by faith. So, but the just live by faith is just like referring to the hopeful elect. Okay, only the Most High servants, the elect, have faith in the Most High. Okay, so let's play. So I'm gonna wrap this up. First, I'd like to give all praises, all the glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and just like also double honors by Apostle Ellis of Great Millstone. I hope this is edifying. But next time, Shalom.
Through the investigation, that things weren't as good as they thought. That Mr. Bishop and his wife were having marital trouble. That they were both seeing a therapist. That Mr. Bishop had been prescribed antidepressants for more than a year, and that his depression was getting worse, and that this somehow not getting that job, running out of money, marital trouble, his wife wanting to go back to work, all somehow played into this unbelievably heinous act of killing his entire family. When he had gone into the convenience store to buy this pair of shoes in Jacksonville, North Carolina, the owner of that store said that he was with a woman, and that his dog was outside with the woman on a leash. Although, again, there was no video outside of that store, the owner of that store believes that the woman got into the car with him, with the dog, and that was the last we have seen of Bishop. So the case is now 43 years old, but those victims that were killed, that beautiful family that was killed, they don't have a voice. So the only voice that can be for them is to continue the search. We have never had any confirmation that Mr. Bishop is deceased. We have done DNA profiles. We have in the international search for Mr. Bishop, We have him listed as a red flag throughout the world. So should there be an unidentified body somewhere found, and they do some DNA testing on it, we hope that that would match it up. When the grand jury in Montgomery County indicted Mr. Bishop, 43 years ago, we started the search for him, and it has led investigators, including myself, to multiple locations throughout the United States. I have been to a number of places throughout the United States on very credible leads that ultimately turned out not to be actual William Bradford Bishop. But we have also had what we believe to be sightings of Bishop throughout the world, to include Basel, Switzerland, to include Sorrento, Italy. So one of the first international leads came in the early 90s. I believe it was 1993, if I remember correctly. It was in Basel, Switzerland. There was a neighbor of Mr. Bishop's who lived right down the street from him, who was actually very, very close with the family. They used to play tennis together. The children knew each other. So this was not just someone that, in passing just happened to maybe see him down the street every once in a while. This is people that knew each other. That Bishop and his wife Annette would play tennis with the man and women. They were vacationing in Basel, Switzerland. And while they were on a commuter train at a station, they looked over at the opposite train going that was also on the platform, going in the opposite direction. But the windows matched up with each other. And she just happened to look out the window to see who was coming onto their train. And while the man in the train across from them that was going in the other direction was doing the same thing, their eyes matched, and she was 100% sure that it was Bishop, and he saw her and recognized her. Unfortunately, the trains went in opposite directions. We were notified after she returned home, and notified the police in that area of Basel, Switzerland, and they did a search. They went back to where the train station came in for a number of mornings to see whether or not that particular train would have that person on it and be able to identify it. And has been throughout the years, that person that she said was on that train, who she 100% believed to be Bishop because she knew him, never was on that train again. One of the things that he was responsible for was the creation of passports. So he could have made a passport up under a different name. He could have left the country at the time because it was much easier to get in and out of airports on and off a plane. It wasn't the security, there was no entry-level security back then like there is now, which is very detailed entry-level security. It was easy to get in and out. So, he could be the guy next door in the United States, or he could be in Europe, or he could be anywhere, and we'll continue searching throughout the entire world until we get word that he is either deceased or too old to possibly be alive. We have also had some recent tips that have come in that we are currently working on right now. And although some of these tips are 43 years old, and some of the tips and leads that have come in are literally 1 week old, but we continue on every single lead that comes in. And I'm telling you, there have been thousands of leads over the 43 years. We have followed up on every one of them because the family deserves it. Just to think about that beautiful family being killed in that way is just incredible. Even after 43 years later, is incredibly difficult to discuss and talk about. There's nothing more that I would like to do is put those handcuffs on Mr. Bishop and then question him, number one, to where he has been over the last 43 years, And the big question, why?